Hey son, and welcome to Swedish review. Well, at least sort of. This is Trucizna. Pardon my pronunciation, it's a Polish word, but this band is indeed from Sweden. It's a relatively new duo with just a couple of EPs out, this being the later one sent to me directly from the band. Thank you to the respective people. So, as MCD, this is about 20 minutes of music, few tracks, and you will also see that this lineup photo is right there, and then you have the cover with an elderly people with tits having a snake on the other side of Chalice, and now you're probably picking up some occult vibes. Comes with a rather beautiful design, if you ask me, with this stylish aesthetics, some lyrical content obviously here, which the sun is trying to block. Maybe I'll put it a little bit further away. And so there are lyrics, there are photos, and that's what you get if this is your money's worth according to your opinion. Everything here reeks and seems like total traditional black metal, but musically, as the Metal Archive site pretty much nicely states, this is more like black and death metal. And then you're asked, okay, once again, is this war metal like, or is it more like Behemoth or something like that? And then I'm like, kind of like Archgoat. But there are obviously differences. But let's try to dissect it a little bit when we're talking about The Devil's Glory Among Us MCD with some 22 minutes and all. As you can pretty much figure out, the songs are not extra lengthy or anything, more like compact with a couple of songs, crossing the 5 minutes mark. But musically, this is made of rather simplistic riffs, and that's where I get the most, the Archgoat feeling. Some of the riffs are just the kind of borderline first and second wave of black metal with lots of death metal in the play. Vocals are then again more coming from the black metal department. They are raw and kind of a bestial, which I like, especially this kind of music. Then again, when we're talking about the production, and once again those rather simplistic riffs, that's where you're like putting your finger like, is this more death metal or black metal? I mean, does it even matter? This is more like the information for those figuring out whether or not this is your cup of tea. Because of the nature of the given music and because of the production, this doesn't sound like modern technology band. I mean, when you are comparing this to, say, modern nowadays bands of, death and black metal being combined, you will definitely get a whole lot of different feeling versus what Trucizna is doing. Like I said, this is more like the early 90s kind of a feeling. Not exactly so much maybe Beherit style, but there's a little bit of that too in a way. But definitely more on the Archgoat stuff. And because of that, you could really think about names like Blasphemy and other stuff. But Trucizna never goes too fast, and that's, I think, what separates from it from the bands like, say, Revenge, Conqueror, Black Witcher, and the like. It's more around the mid-tempo stuff, and some it kind of slows down, which is one again emphasizing the Archgoatian feeling here. I would actually say that if you're a fan of Archgoat, you would definitely want to check out this MCD because it does the given style quite nicely. Well, there are a bunch of bands that you can really box in the war metal department or this bestial black death kind of a thing. Obviously, there are differences and not everything sounds like the same, especially if you're more familiar with the given genre. But this also goes the other way, the train we're talking about. And by that I mean, if you're looking for something more melodic, something more sophisticated, something more symphonic, something more second wave-ish in terms of black and death metal, especially if the focus on the being black metal thing, this might not be your cup of tea. But if you are, indeed, I'm gonna repeat myself for the sake of it, if you're indeed some kind of Archgoat fanatic, I think this should really do the trick. What I'm hoping from this band when it comes to, moving on to the future years and coming releases, I think they really need to have some more memorability with these riffs. Because it's one thing to do it Bestial with the proper production and proper vocals. if you start comparing to Archgoat, it kind of shows how Archgoat is indeed more experienced and have more dynamics in the songwriting. But that's pretty much the only criticism I have of the band. I mean, what it's worth, given the production, vocal things and all, this is already pretty nice job, so I can totally recommend you to check it out if death black metal combination is your thing in the first place. As always, links are provided in the description box, so start listening it and I hope you like it.